Iowa's U.S. Senate race will be one of the big ones to watch this November. So this week we go in depth into that race. And we ask Mike Franken, what did he mean when he called Chuck Grassley's hometown depressing? Plus, we're learning more and more about what did and did not work for students during the COVID-19 pandemic. Find out what one change would be that a candidate says should return because he feels it helps students. And we thank Mom every Mother's Day. We're going to look at how candidates stress being a mom in their campaign.
From your local election headquarters, this is The Insiders with Dave Price.
Chuck Grassley holds one of the 21 Republican seats in the U.S. Senate that will be up for election this November. There are 14 Democrat-held seats. Grassley's nearly 89. He's been in the Senate since 81, and he still lives in the Northeast Iowa community where he grew up. That town is New Hartford in Butler County, about 12 miles west of Cedar Falls. You could say it's one of the most consistent, at least in this way. The U.S. Census Bureau counted 570 residents back in 1900, and in 2020, guess what? The Census Bureau showed it has 570 residents. Now, Mike Franken chose to do a 99-county campaigning tour, just like Chuck Grassley does every year. Franken also chose to end that tour in New Hartford, Grassley's hometown. Iowa Democratic Party Chair Ross Wilburn had tweeted this picture to mark the occasion last weekend. So we're going to start our conversation this week with Franken about why he intentionally ended his tour in Grassley's hometown.
It's just amazing how it all worked out that way. Just fortunate that we ended up in Butler County, and it just became the centroid of where we ended up. And you know, the weather was not kind. I mean, hell hath no fury for a Democrat and a load of Democrats in that city. But I think they were highly accommodating. We filled the place, and there must have been 150 people there. And they came out in quite a rainstorm, and we had a good time. And we capped off what I think is a major chapter of this campaign, and now we're shifting gears into the next stage, and away we go.
All right, Grassley's campaign has been sending this around. Franken back in May had said about New Hartford, quote, "Have you been to his hometown? It's one of the most depressing small towns I've seen in Iowa," end quote. Grassley's campaign on Twitter advised Franken, quote, "Do not trash a hometown," end quote. So I asked Franken why he said what he said.
New Hartford is not a standalone situation. There are many small towns that are struggling with just staying alive. And that's indicative of an economic picture in an agriculture structure that has not been kind, and perhaps a state government that has been less than accommodating as well. We need to do substantial work in rural Iowa, and actually, if you look at where the economic depressed areas are in the United States, most people think of cities, urban areas, but actually it's in rural Iowa included. So I would like to help New Hartford. You think its most prominent citizen would be wise to such things that we can do to help that community, and I look forward to reversing the trend.
What would bring help? What brings development there? What brings people there?
Well, certainly we've got to change the way we're doing agriculture in the state of Iowa. I think if we maintain on this trend, the monopolistic tendencies where we step aside antitrust and it becomes land owned by some foreign entity or an insurance company in Boston, that is not favorable to the agricultural underpinnings of Iowa. Moreover, if we have tough time getting teachers, we'll do a consolidation of schools, which will be one fewer things in the town to hang its hat on. The lack of community involvement because of the divisiveness in society that exists today, that is an issue where it's very clear that our politicians have put party politics over people. And my plan is to change that.
You mentioned teachers. Most students have now gone back to class for the coming year. Unlike last year, the federal government ended the program where students could eat lunch for free. that school didn't have to pay. You do have certain districts that have kept this up. We're seeing demand at food pantries go up so much, and this is all at a time that our state's unemployment rate is still historically low comparatively. Should the federal government do something about this, or is it up to families to figure this out? What needs to be done?
Well, we have such a wage disparity in America, and certainly we have an upstart of inflation, and it is causing the essentials of life to become more expensive. That, I think, is diminishing, and wage growth is going up, but the lower quartile of income in America is always struggling, and even made more so. The federal government has a role, but community and state does as well. The tools to be applied are multifaceted, but we're not seeing enough of it done.
Do you want to see, and it's hard to sort of drill this down, but the program that provided lunches for kids, should that be a permanent thing?
Well,
or is that not the way to go?
I've not looked into it in detail, and I remember my father sitting there writing out $7 checks to all of us kids, one after another, and that was for 30 meals in Kinsey Elementary or Sioux Center Junior High School. It was a struggle for him back then, for all of us kids. I would expect.
And 9 of you, right?
There were a lot of us. Yeah. Not all in school at the same time. We were staggered every 18 months. But it was tough for him. I would expect in today's dire economic environment, it is even more so. So it has been a worthwhile thing across the United States, and I would expect so that we can ensure that we've got good meals going to students today, we ought to solidify that. It should be part of the educational package.
So free lunch all the way across the board, you're saying?
I think so. I think so.
So we wondered what that would cost. Well, adding up numbers from the USDA, it looks like it could cost about $18 or $19 billion per year to provide lunches for all students. That'd be an increase of about $4 to $5 billion per year from the cost of providing free and reduced lunches to about 3/4 of the nation's students pre-COVID. By the way, some schools are still providing lunches for students for free this year. Des Moines, Marshalltown, most Sioux City schools, just to name several here. Grassley's campaign sent this in response to what Franken proposed there. Senator Grassley supported the expansion of the school lunch relief program. However, like the federal boost to unemployment insurance, this was intended to be a temporary measure. Statement also adds that Grassley did support more money for schools to provide lunches this school year. Emergency food providers like the Des Moines Area Religious Council saw demand increase when some students could no longer get free lunch at school and families lost additional COVID-19 aid. A pantry in Huxley also dealt with another challenge. The business that provided free space for the pantry for 28 years closed and said the pantry had to move out the next day. This sign out front in Huxley has been outdated for a while now. But not what's inside. School shoes when the old ones don't fit anymore. Jackets for the weather that's coming. Ladies' clothes, kids' clothes, men's too, in most any size.
Everything's free.
And the reason that sign outside is no longer current, this clothes pantry also offers a free meal when appetites at home are bigger than the paycheck. They also have toys, dishes, and blankets.
I really like that. I always hope people will see them.
Those signs inside, they are everywhere, comforting struggles that arrive daily. Jerry McLaughlin hopes their positivity,
These things are 100% the way I live my life, like I do.
And her laugh will help lift someone up. But now it's her passion that needs the lift.
It threw me for a loop a little bit.
Her all-volunteer pantry has been here since 1994. But on Monday, the business that donated this space said that it's closed and her pantry needs to leave. Time to go after 28 years in this crowded, donated garage stall.
We shall survive. We always do.
But with Jerry Ann, no matter what it looks like, when it comes to optimism, there's always room.
First time ever. Yay! This is it.
Welcome to the pantry's new home. Not 24 hours after one business at the pantry had to move out, another one said, move in here. This old doctor's office offers far more room, but it also brings one challenge. So they have all of this kind of space, but there's a need with this, as you can see. Need some walls here, need some drywall, somebody to do it too. Could also use cleaning supplies, vacuum, toiletries, kids snacks and cereal now that they're back at school. So the wish list here could use some help, but it's a lot of promise.
Everything in the box, hopefully in the same order.
Back at the old pantry, volunteer Francis Hansen is packing up. But before all these boxes are packed up, this California transplant is confident that Iowa Nice will come through once again.
I'm happy to be in Iowa. People care here. People care.
The community has cared enough in the past to donate enough food and clothes for 70,000 people plus, Jerry Ann estimates, and all from this community of just over 4,000. So hopefully at least one of them can do drywall.
I don't know where the drywall's going to come from, but somebody will bring me some. I know they will.
Someone out there who can help this woman who's offered a lift up and a laugh.
I mean, but if somebody wanted to carpet it, sure.
For so many for nearly 3 decades now. She was right, too. Good news. People did come forward, said they'd do the drywall, even offered some extra shelving to get that Huxley pantry ready to go in its new location. Truly Iowa Nice. Coming up next, why Mike Franken disagrees with some fellow Democrats about paying for college.